Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Another day, another story of advanced talks for Manchester United. 24 hours ago we were in advanced talks with Gareth Bale. Now we're in advanced talks with Ivan Perisic, which is amazing, isn't it? It's amazing the amount of business Manchester United are doing at the moment. We've been saying we're not doing enough business, and now we're talking to everybody. But where's the? You can detect where I'm going to go with this, can't you? So where is this story coming from? It's coming from an account called Paris United, who has a new account called Euro United. Now you can get a lot of good information from Sport Witness, or you can do it if you can figure it out yourself. But effectively, what Sport Witness are saying is that Paris United have been very reliable and accurate in relation to PSG news in the past, but they've never really discussed anything around the Premier League. They have done now with this Perisic thing, and obviously we'll have to wait and see whether they're reliable with that. What's the story with Ivan Perisic? Look, I said last summer I would love him to come to Manchester United. Jose Mourinho said 48 hours ago what a great player he is. He's strong, he's tall, he's quick, he gets lots of crosses in. Lots of crosses, over 150 crosses last season for Inter Milan. But there's a big but here, isn't there? And it's not, doesn't belong to, no, I'm not going to say that. It belongs to Inter Milan. This is a deal that Manchester United should have done last summer. This was perfect for last summer. He was perfect for his last summer. He's quick, he's skillful, he's hard-working, he can play off both wings. It's very hard to tell which foot he is footed, because he's pretty much both-footed. Fantastic player without being a world star. He'd come into the team, and basically what Perisic does, he's not going to be Ronaldo, he's not going to be Mo Salah. What he's going to be is he's going to be a consistent 8 out of 10 player every week. And if he has a bad game, his work rate will mean that he has a good game. So it'd be perfect for what Mourinho wants at Manchester United. He's a run through the brick wall player, but he's also, he's got the flair, he's got the technique, he can chip in with a few goals. But most importantly, the thing that really saddened me about why we didn't get Perisic last year was what he would have brought to Lukaku, what he would have brought to corners, what he would have brought to set pieces, because that's what he is. He's a crossing merchant from both sides, absolutely brilliant. And he puts so many fullbacks on their backside because they'll dive to try and stop the cross on his left foot, but then he'll instantly come on his right foot, or then he'll go back to his left foot. There's some really good clips of him doing that. But he would have been great. He's 6'1" as well, so he's a threat in the air defensively and offensively. But this is a deal we should have done last summer, because he was available last summer. We did a lot of work around him last summer. Mourinho did a lot of work around it. That's the rumour anyway. And United just didn't want to pay the money that Inter Milan wanted. And if you remember correctly, I think Inter Milan needed to raise a certain amount of money by the end of June. Otherwise, they were going to fall victim of financial fair play. And I think United went in with a low offer of about 30 million. And then they found the money elsewhere, and then they were like, we want 40, we want 50, and then United just wouldn't pay it. How and should that change this summer? If I'm asked the straight question here whether I would want Ivan Perisic at Manchester United, the answer would still be yes. Although there is a hint of hypocrisy, which I'll talk to you in a minute. But what I do want to just say as well is, for the story that says United are in advanced talks, there's also a story from Italy where Spalletti, who is the Inter Milan manager, has said that reportedly said to the Inter Milan director, basically Perisic and Brozovic are unsellable. Under no circumstances should they ever be sold. And Inter Milan are not in financial issues anymore. In fact, they've got quite a lot of money now, Inter Milan, and they're back in the Champions League. So getting Perisic out of Inter Milan would probably be even harder than it was last season, and we were reluctant to pay the money last season, so why would we do it now? On top of that, age-wise, because I can see people saying it in the live comments, Perisic is now 29. He was 29 in February, so he's 29 and a half at the start of this season. He's actually 4 or 5 months older than Gareth Bale. So 29 and a half, he's not far off the age of Willian. And I've said, I don't really want people touching that age. It's short term, this, that and the other. So I have to say that is the stumbling block, even if United were in for Perisic. Now, how would we be in talks for Perisic if we're in talks with Perisic when Inter Milan don't want to sell? Well, this could be a tactic that a lot of clubs do try, and it could be something that United have tried here, if we're in for him, which is have the talks with him before you go to Inter Milan. Illegal, of course, but it does get done. And maybe there's been talks with an agent about a hypothetical, and maybe Perisic wants to leave Inter Milan and would quite like to come to Manchester United. That would change the scenario totally. If Perisic wants to come to Manchester United and Inter Milan don't want to sell him, but he's adamant he wants to come, then that can happen. And I remember having this conversation last summer about Perisic and getting on a plane to go on the tour. I think they went to I think they went to Japan, Inter Milan last year or something like that. Once you're on that plane, the deal's not going to get done. But if you want the deal to be done, don't get on the plane forced to move. And he didn't. So is Perisic the sort of player to force a move? Probably not. I don't think United are going to sign Ivan Perisic. I think what's going on here is that we were linked to him last year. We tried to sign him last year. We were very close to signing him last year. On Wednesday night, he had a brilliant performance against England. And you put those two things together and you get a story of Manchester United are in advanced talks to sign Perisic. That's what I think's happening. But you can't ignore it totally because Mourinho loves him as a player. Mourinho wanted him last year. And if there's a possibility of getting him, I think Manchester United probably would still do it. Where do I sit? Where do you sit? I'm going to take some of your comments now. But I would say that if we signed him, I'd be excited because he'd bring a lot of consistency to the flanks and he can play off both flanks. So when you're talking about a right midfielder, Perisic could play on the right, Sanchez or Martial on the left. But I just don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to do it. I think we missed the boat with this last year and it's very rare that you go back the following year. Devil's Ace says he doesn't want him. Ivan says he wants Rebic. Well, Rebic, apparently their owner of Eintracht Frankfurt has said they'll listen to offers. Is Rebic as good as Perisic? There's not a lot between them. There's not a lot between them when Rebic is on form, but Rebic consistency has not been there in the domestic game. International football he's quite good, but domestic football he's a little bit inconsistent compared to Perisic. So Perisic is the better option, but Rebic is 5 years younger. Maybe that potential is there. Rival clubs doing business and we've been very quiet, says Jamie Pearson. I mean, encouraging things. There's been some Manchester United I've just seen just before I went live. Manchester United have put up some pictures of United players training. Anthony Martial looks very happy. Manchester United Twitter account tweeting about Martial Friday today. I tell you what, if Martial ends up leaving Manchester United now, there's going to be big questions asked of that Twitter account. They never stop tweeting about Martial. And it's making people believe that he's staying. And I think that he will leave basically because I'm putting together what, how does the situation get resolved? He wants more game time. He needs to sign a new contract. I desperately want him to stay. And I understand why people think he is staying, but I'm still concerned that he's going to go. But the amount of tweets we're getting about him in the pictures, I don't blame people for thinking he's going to stay. The thing I liked is there was a picture of Angel Gomez and Tahith Chong with Alexis Sanchez playing. It's great to see all these young lads training with the first team. I know a lot of the first teamers aren't there, but it's great to see. Stuart Prattley says Perisic would be a fabulous addition to Manchester United. There's also a story in the Daily Mail that I need to bring your attention to about Harry Maguire and a 50 million bid from Manchester United. It's the Daily Mail. And the journalist behind it, I'm not taking anything away from that journalist. Journalists work very hard, but it's not somebody that I would say is credible around Manchester United news, and I don't really think the story holds any substance at all. That's not to say we won't move for Harry Maguire. I'd like to see us move for Harry Maguire, but I'm certainly not getting excited at the moment. I think Manchester United and Harry Maguire rumours pretty much are about as credible as fans talking about it, which is he'd be a decent centre-back signing for Manchester United, but I don't think there's anything going on with United and him at the moment. And of course, he's part of a World Cup as well. Just play Martial end off, says Maziz. Get in a world-class signing, says Stinger 400. Well, if you watch That's Football, which I did 20 minutes ago, the transfer show there, I'm categorically certain that Neymar's going to go to Real Madrid. And if Neymar goes to Real Madrid may well let Bale go. And if Bale goes, surely he's coming to Manchester United. So maybe that's going to happen. Because I don't think Perisic is going to happen. So as much as we were talking about Bale yesterday and then we're talking about Perisic today, you can't get both. If you're asking me what we've got more chance of getting, I'd say Bale. And that probably excites people more. And let's not forget, Bale is 6 months younger than Perisic. So part of me has to say that if I want Perisic, then I can't say no to Bale. My concern is that obviously if we get Bale, I think Martial goes. And that's my concern there. And also his injury concerns as well. Lucas says he can't be bothered with the American tour. I can't wait for the American tour. But 4 weeks tonight, everyone. 4 weeks tonight. We play Leicester City in our first game in the Premier League. 4 weeks tonight. 4 weeks to sell Jones, Smalling, Darmian, Blind and sign Bale, Milinkovic, Savic and Sandro. 4 weeks. I'm smiling myself. 4 weeks to get 7 deals done. Of course, that not all those players are going to go and not all those players are going to sign. But even if we're conservative, you'd expect 3 players have got to go out the door and at least 2 to come in. So 5 deals in 4 weeks, that's the worrying thing. If they do it, very impressive. But I don't know. I mean, United, we're so slow. Could we even do 4 weeks, 4 deals in 4 weeks? I don't know. I think United are so slow at deals, and we're going on tour as well. 4 weeks to get at least 5 deals done. We need at least 5 doing, don't we? We need 2 out. Darmian and Blind have got to go. I'd like to see Jones or Smalling go if we're signing another centre-back, and then 2 or 3 in. I just can't see it. I can't see it. Be very exciting 4 weeks if it's going to happen. There's news about Kroos to Old Trafford, says Ike Port Kingsley. I'd love Tony Kroos to come to Manchester United, but I don't really see it happening. Get Mbappe, says happy. I am sad Ronaldo went to Juventus, says CH Bablu. Marcus Fred, a starting 11 player, says McGinnis HD. Well, he should be. He should be. But I won't be surprised if Fellaini starts the season. That's what we've signed him for. 5 deals in 4 weeks seems unlikely, says Luca. World Cup has got in the way of transfers for some reason, says Phil Foster. The Premier League has made a massive mistake this summer. I was saying this on That's Football. Massive mistake. Shortening the transfer window when there's a World Cup. Idiotic. It leaves most clubs 2 or 3 weeks to get deals done. It's not good. Very slow in deals, says Wakas Akram. It's concerning. Is Jose in Manchester, says Michael Duffy? Yes, he is. So hopefully he's sorted out what's going to happen with Anthony Martial. And Calamity Jones says United are slower in the transfer market window than they are in their style of play. And that's saying something. Thanks for that contribution. And Mikey says, I think Dalot's going to have a bigger role than you think. Yeah, I really don't. I don't know why people think Dalot's going to play next season. I think he's got no chance of playing games next season. Valencia will be the captain. Somebody asked me to do a captain's debate show. Why? I mean, we can talk about who we'd like to be captain, but it's Valencia. Valencia's captain next season. He's going to be the right back. He's going to be the captain. Mourinho's doesn't care who the captain is. He hands it around like confetti, and he's settled on Valencia, who can barely speak English. So that's our captain. There's no debate around it. So and Valencia will be right back, so Dalot won't play. And I certainly don't want him playing at left back anyway, because he's just another right footer. I can see Joel Pereira being second choice and Romero will leave, says Jamie. And Bale to reject United, says Archie. Thoughts on Felipe Anderson to West Ham, says McGinnis. Well, he was linked to United for a couple of years. His form and career has gone off the boil a little bit, so West Ham's a good move for him. Why does it take us so long to complete transfers? Am I being naive? No other side takes months, says Matt Hosford. It's a relevant question. I can't answer, Matt. I don't know why it takes us so long. But the biggest club in England, I suppose, that's an issue. But I don't know. Lukaku will make a great captain. He's proved that in the World Cup, says Lynn Hall. I agree. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup? France, and 5 years in Manchester and can barely speak English. Wow, says Anthony Muller. There's a lot of foreign players who come into the country though and are not great speaking English, because you can live in a bubble, can't you? You can live in your bubble, you can live in your home, you can earn your money, you can go to training, you can speak with a lot of people who speak your language a lot of the time. So yeah, it can happen. I just saw news, Tony Kroos to Manchester United accepted, 70.9 million. Is it true? Says Jit Car Roy. Let's have a look, Jit Car. I doubt it, but there you go. Absolutely nothing. Probably just been spammed there, but you can always go and check yourselves, can't you? There's nothing about Tony Kroos and Manchester United. So, no. Nothing about Tony Kroos. Don't get excited. Prankaj says United are only going to get one more signing. I was asked this on That's Football as well, so I'll tell you lot here as well. I think that... No, Jay Talks Football saying Anderson's very underrated. What are you on about? I think Anderson's a good player, but I watch a lot of Italian football. He's been very inconsistent for 2 or 3 years at Lazio. He can be really good. He can be on the bench. He doesn't always play. And he's a good player, but he needs to find some consistency. I think Alexandro will be our next signing. I still think Alexandro will sign for Manchester United. Maybe I'm just being a bit optimistic, but yeah, I do. Please do drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get up to 500 likes while we're live. Smash that like button. And Football Talk are reporting it, says Tam Drainer. I don't see us signing Tony Kroos in a million years. Don't see it happening at all. We all get a right winger and a left back or a centre midfielder, not both, says CR. And Mark, you said we'll get at least 2 more signings. You promised it, says King Z. Oh, yeah, because my words, yeah, me and Woodward are like that, yeah. I think United will sign 2 more players. I haven't said 1 more. I read a comment out there. I said Manchester United will sign 2 more players. And I think we will. Definitely sign at least 2 more signings, yeah. So take it to the bank if you want. I think we will. I'm not one of those people who think we're not going to sign anybody else. I'm not one of them people who think we're going to sign 1 more. I think Manchester United will sign 2 more players. Definitely, yeah, I do. Damarcio hasn't spoken a word about Sandro knitting. You're right. And being in Italy and being all over the Juventus deal with Ronaldo, you would expect them to know something about it. But, you know, there we go. Savic, the latest on Savic you can get on the Transfer News this morning, Transfer News Daily. In fact, I'm going to end the show here because there's absolutely loads of information on Transfer News Daily this morning, which I did. About 7 or 8 stories there that we've covered. So I've only gone live really to talk about Perisic. We're back live tonight at 8 o'clock, of course, back in the 8 o'clock slot now. I'm sure there'll be more to discuss then. But if you missed the transfer show this morning, I've put an eye in the top right-hand corner. Click it and go through there. It only takes 10 minutes to watch it, and there's loads of updates there about centre-backs, Milinkovic-Savic, lots of stuff on there. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone who's dropped a like on the video. Thanks everyone who's watching live. If you're not watching live, give us your thoughts below on Perisic. Would you take him at Manchester United? 29 in February. Do you think there's any truth in it? We wanted him last year. Do you think there's any truth in it now? And would you take him anyway? Thanks for watching. Back at 8 o'clock UK time. And click the eye in the top right-hand corner and watch Transfer Daily because there's all the updates there on Milinkovic-Savic, on Alderweireld and Martial. I'll speak to you all later.